So this is what it feels like to be like one of them. One of the injured, whether physically, mentally, or spiritually. It's quiet. And sometimes the silence is peaceful. But most of the time, I find it rather maddening. Still, every experience serves its own purpose, whether necessary or not. I'm not sure how they do it. Maybe they use music or exercise. I don't really know. This is an erotic, subjective reality based on the pursuit of non-stop distractions, and I do not relate with this. It's no wonder why people go insane. Vulnerability creates fear, and fear creates instability. And instability leads to self-destruction. I'm actually surprised so many of them don't understand this. You can't find me right now because you can't find you. And even if you did find you, you wouldn't like what you found because you are not you. And I'm not you either, and that terrifies you. The real you and the fake you, and you'd never know the difference because you don't actually exist. Something else does, but you already knew that. You just don't like to think about it. And one day you're going to wake up, even if it's just for 1 second, just like I did, and you're going to have to make a decision. You're going to choose the rest of your life in that very moment, and it'll be different for every single one of you. But you'll know when it comes, and it only happens one time, ever. You will choose to rise or fall. The decision now, as you think about it, is simple, right? Well, I'm going to rise. Seems logical. But you won't exercise logic to make that decision because it's not a logic-based equation to people in the moment. It's emotional. And thus, people meet this moment with an emotional-based response. And that's why most choose to fall. Because rising requires a lot of accountability. It's a commitment. And it's lonely at first, which also terrifies people. People are afraid of being alone. However, it's where you find yourself, your true self, in a state of suffering. And perhaps others eventually. However, suffering in sight scares the vermin away. They don't realize that suffering is completely unavoidable because there are two paths in life. Suffering for something and suffering for absolutely nothing. I chose to suffer for something. I chose no one else because I found myself when I chose to become accountable for the future. And if you don't choose for yourself and choose wisely, others will choose for you. And your life will mean absolutely nothing to you. You will remain in a slow motion nightmare until you are gone. And you will live limited, injured, in whatever way you are aware of. And you will be gone until you return to do this all over again in another life. Until you hear my voice again. And soon it will be time once more for I to stir the winds of suffering for the next to make their choice, as we all do, to rise or fall.